Hello, everybody. This is Rocío Durán one more time with Desde la Cima, the podcast that brings all the Latinos and Latinas that are doing amazing things. And today, without a doubt, we have with us the amazing Olivia, another fellow from the LLI who I got to meet a couple of years ago. And I just fell in love with you because of how amazing you are. So I'm going to, instead of I'm introducing her, I want her to introduce herself and to tell us who is Olivia.
Okay, pues muchas gracias otra vez por tenerme aquí, and I'm just so humble for everything that you've been saying and just the work that you've also done with the community, the Latino community. Estoy tan orgullosa de ti.
Oh, gracias.
So, nacida aquí, primera generación. My mom came from Mexico, Matamoros, Tamaulipas. Spanish has been my first language. My dad also immigrated here.
Is he from Mexico as well?
So, tantas historias que es de Cuba. No lo conozco muy bien, pero I don't know.
Who knows? Okay. Your mom.
I feel que cuando estoy con mis cubanos amigos, el español se me sale like just naturally, tan rápido. Cuando ando con mi mom, mexicana all the way, it's just, I don't know. So maybe.
Okay, good enough. Okay, ¿qué estás haciendo ahorita, Olivia? Cuéntanos de ti, de tu carrera, ¿qué haces?
So, ahorita trabajo with Rocky Mountain Crisis Partners. Rocky Mountain Crisis Partners is a call center that handles all mental health for those that need ayuda con crisis, substance abuse, suicide, or even just emotional support. However, Rocky Mountain Crisis Partners no tiene un division solamente para los bilingües, so I oversee that. And so it's a new program, a new division that I'm overseeing. So that's my full-time job. Y luego I'm also city and county chair for the Denver Women's Commission.
I love that.
And I sit on 10 other committees under the Women's Commission.
I love that because that's one of the things that we have in common, and it is this love for the community, but also this love for women in general, and how can we create a better place for all to be, for women, especially for women. So I love that. Tell us a little bit about that. When did you start working? What do you do? What is the meaning of that?
So with the city or with Rocky Mountain?
With the city. Well, both, but let's start with the city.
Yeah, so I signed on, se me hace que también la conoces, a Maria Coral.
Me suena.
So she was with the city, and she did LLI as well. I think she was probably one of the first or second cohorts. And she's the one that, was working with the city, and she says, hey, I really think that you should apply to the Women's Commission. I think that, como te ha conocido. Y I also have advocate for the el robo de salario with el Centro de Humanitario.
Okay.
Defendiendo a los trabajadores que no les pagan, the employers. And I also, just to give you a little bit more background, I work with 2 attorneys on pro bono cases. I translate affidavits. I've been working on some cases for now 7 years with them. Puros casos that, gente quiere cambiar su citizenship. So I've been doing that on the side as well. And I give back, right? That's what I like to do. I feel very passionate in helping others. But anyways, Maria Coral, she said, fill out this application, help out. I think you'd be great. So I did, and I'm going on my 3rd year with the Denver Women's Commission. I just got reappointed by the mayor and the city council.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. You have to go through such a process. We just recruited, I want to say 5 new gals. So we're super excited today in the evening, or it's going to be our first meeting all together. So it's going to be wonderful. But we are very focused on having a diverse, very broad type of group. And with the help of my other commissioners, we've been kicking butt. So it's been great. But what we do is advocate for women and girls' rights, say abortion statements, advocating for equal pay opportunity. Right now we're doing like a storytelling with Rowena.
Nice.
And it's a colorism committee program that committee that we're trying to get going. Y en eso is trying to get una diverse group, right? So tenemos una latina, tenemos una güerita y una morena, and so we ask them, you know, like, how have you been discriminated with the city, and how have you been able to move forward? So it's a 3-minute type of video, and that's the only challenging part, is tener tanta información en 3 minutos. I mean, it's imposible, but we're going to have to make it work. And I think during the summer, probably in the summer of this year, we'll be able to share that video.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
So I think it's going to be really cool. Is Rowena, how is she working in that project?
So she's telling us what to look for. She's telling us the time. She's telling us, you know, who the directors will be, the producers, and what information she's looking for to get this going.
Okay, cool. And how about the Rocky Mountain project?
So that is a brand new project. That is something that I'm totally new with. But we've got some grant from the state to run this program. So currently we don't have any calls that come in, at least counselors to take these calls para ayudar a los que hablan español. I have 2 gals right now que están tomando estas llamadas, and they're so excited. Una es de Colombia y la otra es de Mexico.
Nice.
And they've been kicking butt. They're so eager to take these calls, and yo escucho las llamadas to make sure que es el mismo servicios a los que hablan inglés, because overall that's the goal here. Quiero tener los mismos servicios, la misma oportunidad que le dan a los que hablan inglés, a los que están hablando en español.
Got it.
And so with that, we will have to probably do some education work, some outreach. You know, right now it's more of like a testing trial to see how it goes. But once I have more of a staff going, we'll be able to share that live.
So, and is that for any kind of people, or just young people, adults? Who is the target?
Yeah, so no, todos los que hablan español, sea los jóvenes, minors, those that are in school, batallando, you know, with peer pressure, things like that. And we also have mamás, las llamadas que he escuchado yo son mamás solteras que están batallando con sus jóvenes. So it's more of like listening and giving those resources. Y también in Denver, or even in the state of Colorado, no tenemos tantos resources para gente que pueda atender. They have to call a translation service.
Got it.
Para tener esa ayuda. So hopefully we can break this even stigma para tener y attract more callers coming in.
And how do you market yourself? How do they know that you exist? Because I know that there is a big need. The need is there. The service is just new. This is the one. But how do you help people to know that you exist?
So right now, I think it's more of like word of mouth.
Okay.
So gente que, you know, bypass, you know, or hablan con alguien y, you know, saben de hablar, you know, oye, si necesitas con quién hablar, de lo que sea, habla este número y ellos te atenden, o cualquier servicio necesitas. So it's more of like baby steps. You call this number and you get the services, pero ahorita we haven't been able to post it because, como te digo, nomás tengo a 2 ahorita. And so it's a 24-hour in the future type of position, pero por ahorita las horas que ellas 2 trabajan sería lunes a sábado desde las 7 de la mañana hasta las 7 de la tarde.
Oh, wow.
So,
and it's a long time.
Y luego si llegan llamadas a las 12, a la 1 de la mañana, they're going to have to call a translation agent.
And is it just a phone call?
Por ahorita. So, no sé si has escuchado de 988.
No.
So, en vez de hablarle a 911, si necesitas ayuda, so we're trying to also help PD in trying to, you know, help them with the calls. So if you need crisis help, things like that, en vez de hablarle a 911, you call 988. So we've even went to 988 to make it easier. And with 988, you'll be having to do texting as well.
Got it. Okay, so it's like a 3-part process.
Yeah, so you call, you can even text. And I just can't wait for us to expand, to go out there, because por ahorita it's just very little calls. And then we even drop calls, you know, gente que habla, no están tanto en enfocados, you know, like, so si uno habla, porque I've tested, y hablo yo según que quiero hablar con alguien que me ayude. Yo tengo la crisis, yo me pongo en el lugar como otra gente que necesita la ayuda. So I called do you need to speak to someone in Spanish? Press 2. So I press 2. And then they say, okay, well, espera, vamos a encontrar a alguien que todo en español. Perfect, okay. Bueno, pues yo ya tengo 20, 30 minutos esperando.
Ya.
Y eso ya no me gustó, porque andan encontrando a alguien y luego they call a translation agent that's not available, que ni está aquí en el estado. They're trying to get them from another call center.
Got it.
So then it just delays the process. Pero si era tan en serio, like if I want to commit suicide or something, esperando 30 minutos para que me contesten, como que no, porque eso no lo harían a la gente que habla en inglés. They would pick up the call immediately. So that's my challenge, and that's the nature of the project, is trying to be more efficient in contestar esas llamadas because of COVID, and with all the other issues that's been happening. Mental health is como ir al doctor. It's a need.
It is a big need, and after COVID, the situation was even worse. The need is bigger now. So that's really cool. What were you doing before? How you got there? Maybe that's the question.
So goodness, with that one, it was more of a good friend, otra vez, que me decía, hey, well, tú tienes the credentials. I was doing accounting. I've been in accounting forever. And I have my counseling. I've done counseling before. I have my undergrad in psychology and a master's in counseling. Did some practice as well. Pero que no tenía eso, y también estaba haciendo accounting and been in school. So it's kind of like I've never been really focused in one area.
Got it.
So, pero así me pasó. So just having the credentials, I wanted to place everything. Y con esta posición tengo, you know, the strategy to put things together. So my business and bachelor's come into play. Y luego the psychology part comes into play. O sea, todo lo que ha ido a la escuela, it all aligns with what they were looking for. Y luego the fact that I speak, you know, 2 languages, pues, como que no, you know, I have to say yes.
Qué bueno. Y que, vuelvo al punto, qué gran necesidad, hay una enorme necesidad en la comunidad por este servicio en la comunidad hispana, and I love that you are saying the need to be equal, to bring a service with quality, the same way that the white community or Anglo community will have it, you know, and understanding the pressure of stress or the pressure of the need to have an immediate response, and working on how can we deliver a faster response. I think that's important, and that's beautiful. Thank you. Like we will say to our military, thank you for your service.
Aww.
Because I think it's important, and it is a big need. So you were born here?
Yes.
Here in Denver, here in Colorado, here where?
5 Points.
Ah, wow.
Yes.
You are a 5 Points girl. So how was it that your mom got here to 5 Points?
So, bueno, pues mi mom tenía 18 años, embarazada de mi hermana, y tan enamorada, y ella no quería venir, pero la estaba castigando mi abuela, you know, because él era el papá de mi hermana mayor.
Ya.
So, como un castigo, dice, pues te voy a mandar a los estados y te vas a ir con tu hermana, mi tía. Y at the border, le decían a mi mom cómo contestar, ¿verdad? Tú diles que you're an American citizen. Porque si nomás dices esas palabras, te dejan pasar.
Ya.
Pero así era antes también.
Claro, te van a creer. Ajá.
Llegó allí mi mamá, no, yo soy mexicana, me quiero ir para atrás.
Yo no
quiero nada con los estados. Y la vieron toda panzona y le dijeron, sabes que te vamos a hacer el favor
de dejarte pasar.
La dejaron pasar.
Ay, mi amor, pero mira qué linda, porque ella no quería, ella quería devolverse.
Yes, y todo lo hizo, o sea, she went through the border, todo the way muchos tienen miedo, ¿verdad?
Claro.
Y claro, sí lo tenía.
Claro.
Pero les dijo la verdad y la dejaron y pues qué bendición. Claro. So she came to the U.S., batalló mi mom, no saber la idioma,
claro.
the lifestyle, having...
Was it her first time here?
Yes.
For both of them? Your mom and her sister, or just for her?
Well, my sister was still...
No, your mom's sister.
Oh, sí.
Tu tía.
Sí. So they were all first-timers.
Oh, my God. Okay, so they crossed the border, and then what?
So, shelters, section housing, government assistance until, there was some sort of establishment. Y luego, sí, conoció a mi papá. No duró eso. Ahí vengo yo.
Mm-hmm.
And so batalló tanto mi mom teniendo 2 American daughters, y luego, we're in school, trying to understand también la idioma,
claro.
And the lifestyle. Y llegábamos a la casa, mi mom siempre ha trabajado 2 o 3 trabajos,
claro.
Janitor, housekeeping,
mm-hmm.
de limpieza, de lo que sea. Y luego siempre hacer tamales, vender burritos, todo para ayudar.
Que me encanta, porque coincide con todas las historias. Esas son nuestras mujeres mexicanas.
Mm-hmm.
Son mujeres de lucha, de guerra, de no quiero irme a los Estados Unidos, pero aquí estoy y voy a vender tamales, burritos, voy a trabajar en cuantos trabajos necesite porque ya tenemos que salir adelante.
Mm-hmm.
Qué linda historia.
Yes, pero también la historia de mi mom, batalló and me and my sister were able to see todo eso.
Ya.
Y no era nada bonito. Pero también los ayudó a mí y a mi hermana to be very determined.
Ajá.
To
¿Son solo las dos, tú y tu hermana?
Sí.
Ajá.
Yes. So same thing, we're just hard workers, very determined, very loyal, porque así es mi mom, así
claro.
los enseñó a hacer. Pero también llega, no tanto el machismo, pero las mujeres también, que, oyes, si necesitas más dinero, pues agarra otro trabajo, vende burritos, haz lo que tienes que hacer, pero como le dicen a un hombre, oyes, los hombres no lloran, ¿verdad? Porque es la cultura.
Ya.
Y también con mi mom decía, mija, tienes que seguir adelante,
uh-huh.
si te falta, vende burritos.
Búscale.
Búscale. Do whatever you have to do.
Uh-huh.
So that's been the mindset of me and my sister, is always trying to be ahead uh-huh. of the game. Pero sí, I mean, like it was hard. Y luego, como nunca estaba allí mi mom.
Claro, tenía que
trabajar. Pues I was able to have no supervision. And so me divertía. I mean, I went to 4 different high schools. Empecé a tomar yo really young, at 13.
Wow.
Tenía pues all this freedom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Y tuve a mi hijo a los 16 años.
Got it.
Pero in the East Side, era muy común, right? Like, I never felt out of place because casi todas mis amigas tenían babies.
Ya, claro. Uh-huh.
And everything just felt like everything was supposed to be that way.
Uh-huh.
Pero cuando tuve a mi hijo y I held him in my arms, le miré los ojos, and I was like, no te voy a dar la vida aquí. No, you're not going to have any association with my past.
Got it.
So de allí, I put my head down. I finished high school. I was able to get an apartment. I started working more. 12 years at Colorado Christian University. Mm-hmm. Been very determined. And my son, at the age of 18, signed up and served and still is serving as a U.S. Marine. He just recently graduated from the Denver Fire Academy. He's married, me hicieron abuela, so tengo 2 boys.
That's beautiful. How old is he now?
My son?
Your son.
25.
Wow.
25, yeah. And they're just so determined. Él también, you know, like él se levanta a las 3 de la mañana y that's just his nature now. Y es porque yo lo hice, so nunca tenía yo dinero, you know, raising him. Pero siempre lo levantaba los fines de semana. Let's get up, mijo, get up. ¿Por qué, mom? Pues, ¿qué tenemos que hacer los 7, 8 años? ¿Por qué, mom? Pues porque no vamos a perder el día, hijo.
Estar durmiendo,
Let's go to the park. Let's go do this. Let's stay active. I've always been very active with him, playing football, playing tennis, whatever. We're always outdoors. We're always taking trips to the mountains, haciendo algo. No tiene uno que tener dinero. It's just how your mind works, you know, just be determined in other ways.
Wow. What a beautiful story, because it is, how can we pass not also traditions, but also this strength? You know, how can we pass this hunger to do better, to do something different? It is easy to stay in bed and say like, well, we don't have anything to do, we don't have money to go out, let's stay here. But instead of that, pushing and saying like, let's do something. We have many things that we can do. Seeing the half glass, de la mitad del vaso lleno en vez de medio vacío. Qué bonito. Is your mom still with you?
Yes.
And what is her perspective on all of this? Seeing you now with, she's grandma now. Wow.
No, ella bien orgullosa, you know, and ella está tan enamorada de mi hijo, you know. It's her first grandkid, her first love, and you know, she sees him graduate with serving the country. You know, he finished his boot camp. He's done everything right, and you know, he got promotions and raises when he was in North Carolina, when he was based out there. Y ahora que llega a los estados, se casó, o sea, se juntó primero, se casó, tuvo un baby, o sea, everything's been very structured for him. Y luego, ahora que terminó the Fire Academy, now he's doing EMT school. Y luego his wife is up, she'll be starting next week. I mean, you know, qué orgullo. Y luego mi hermana con sus hijos, they're doing great. I mean, like, we're all just, claro, you know, todos tienen una historia, ¿verdad? It's what you do with that story.
And what gets you focused? Because you were partying, you were living the life that many teenagers will love, and it is, I don't have supervision, my mom is working all the time, I get to party. So what happened when you decided to get really focused and come to your senses, if we can call it that way?
Yeah, era cuando tuve a mi hijo.
Fue eso.
Yeah, so... Y luego ahora que, you know, mucha gente que tiene mi edad, right, apenas están empezando familias, or they're still partying. I already got it out of my system. Ya, yo me duermo bien temprano, las 8, 9 de la noche, y you know, trabajo non-stop. I'm in everything I can really put my hands in that I know that I can succeed in. I only get paid for one thing that I do. Everything that I do, I give back, and I freely and welcomely do that with all my heart in it. Pero sí me enfoqué cuando tuve a mi hijo, because, no sé, o sea, nomás viéndolo and he's gonna be under me, my wings, entonces ya me tengo que, pues sí, portar bien. But I got it out of my system, you know, and I think that that's the thing, and I think that con Diosito, you know, he saved me in so many ways. Ahora miro mis amigas con quien me juntaba, I mean, tienen bastantes niños, tienen tattoos all over, they still live in the same area.
They are still part of that system. They weren't able to get out of the system.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Okay, and do you have more family here, or is it just your mom, your sister, and you and your kids?
Yes.
That's
it.
the
I mean,
family.
estoy casada, but
Of course.
as far as my side of the family, yeah, tengo, you know, tías y tíos, pero se vinieron actually más, you know, se vinieron más de mis tíos. Y luego ya sus hijos, everybody's, you know, first generation. My son es primera generación por el lado de su papá, es de
Got it.
Mérida, Yucatán.
Ah.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I'm glad. Y él también, you know, his first language was Spanish. And a lot of the traditions still stick with him because por el lado de su papá y el lado mío. So it's just, it's
100%.
nice to continue.
Mm-hmm. Me encanta lo que estás diciendo. I love what you're saying because usually we still are afraid of teaching our kids Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
So we lost that possibility. Porque queremos, o sea, porque nos da miedo, perdemos la oportunidad de que nuestros hijos sean bilingües. So how good that you were able to keep the language in your family instead of losing it. How old are your grandkids?
3 and 1. Y también con ellos, cada ratito, you know, quiero que me contesten mandes. Cuando le digo, Antonio, what? No, señor. Mande, porque es, you know, the cultura, you know, like the
It's
Mexicano.
respectful.
Right. And, or he'll say, le digo, try again, mande. Y cuando él me dice a mí, Nana, mande, yo le contesto así, ¿qué es esto? Y he gets it, but, y contesta, you know, si le digo, mijo, tráeme el control, tráeme esto, me hace caso si sabe de lo que estoy diciendo. I'll ask him, what's this? It's a fork, pero me lo dice en español, un tenedor, una cuchara. ¿Y qué es esto? Pero dime en español. ¿Sabe contar till 12, I think? En español.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Y luego, my beautiful daughter-in-law, ella le pone cartoons en español.
Oh.
Yes, so así también, you know, it starts sinking in.
Staying in the family. Okay, well, the name of this show is Desde la Cima, from the top. Now, what do you mean? What is the meaning of that for you when you think about you and your process and all the struggle and now being here, being able to help others from the same community? What is the meaning for you talking Desde la Cima?
You know, it's, como te digo, it's huge for me. Another thing too that I do is I mentor West High School students with the Spanish area. So todos los estudiantes con quien trabajo with the mentoring, primera generación también, or no primera generación, son de Zacatecas, que apenas llegaron. So allí me hacen las preguntas, oye, pues tú que llegaste aquí y cómo fue cuando tu mam te trajo, o no que te trajo, pero cómo fue tu vida, ¿verdad?
¿Cómo fue llegar aquí?
Y qué consejo me puedes dar para ayudar. So it goes back to la pregunta que me hiciste, y la verdad mira, yo también batallé, pero yo tuve my own, pues porque cada persona es su historia, ¿verdad? Y yo era more about like partying and just having something a good time, right? Very destructive almost. So yo les digo, y también te digo a ti, it doesn't matter where you start, it's how you finish your race. And so that's been like more of what I'm trying to do, even with all the community work I do. It's just, I'm so passionate about helping others, but I want to do it the right way. And the only way to do it is by sharing my story. I'll tell you, for the Denver Women's Commission, casi muchas son abogadas, right? They're high-powered women. I don't have that doctorate or credential in my resume, but I was voted in, hands down, and le dije a una, I was like, oye, pero ¿por qué me escogieron a mí si yo no tengo lo que muchas ustedes tienen? Porque we need someone who's passionate.
Got it.
We need someone that's going to drive the Women's Commission and allow us to see something that we haven't. And con verte a ti en las juntas y todo lo que haces y you know, how we continue to move. I have taken the Denver Women's Commission on a whole different level, and it's because of the work that I do, that I like to do. And it's about justice, right? It's about making sure that everybody is treated equally. Que va siendo, you know, back to my job. Quiero los mismos servicios, and I'll fight for it. Para los que hablan español, igual para los que hablan en inglés. That's what I advocate for. I want everybody to be treated equally. And so that's how I serve. That's my passion. But just breaking away from that stigma and making sure everybody hears my message, I have to make sure that I walk the right way. You know, like, si todos me van a ver a mí, yo voy a ser el model. El ejemplo. Am I really doing the work? Am I really trying to? Yo no te puedo decir, oye, ve limpiar or whatever, si no lo estoy haciendo yo. So I have to be willing to put el ejemplo primero. And so that's how I serve, you know. Y también tengo a mis nietos que me están viendo, you know, like, hey, we pick up after we're done eating. You know, yo no soy tu maid, pero también porque tengo eso, you know, como mi mom, you know, like, oye, mija, eres mujer, báñate, eres mujer, limpia, eres mujer, you know, you're brought up differently, right? En vez de, ya acabé, voy a dejar mi plato y tú eres the mom, right?
So is it different now that you mentioned, eres mujer, tú limpia, eres mujer, tú haces? Is it different now that you have, that with your grandkids in terms of the gender piece?
Well, I will tell you something different. Okay. I don't discipline with the boys. They get all the love.
So you do what you're supposed to do. You are the grandma, you are not the mom.
Yes. Ya eso es para sus padres, but de todos modos, you know, me tiene que contestar con mande. Todavía me tiene que hacer caso. Si le digo, oye, you can't cross the street without holding my hand and with a grown-up. So, small things like that. Si ya me quebra un plato, no, I'm sorry. It's okay, mijo. Pero si fuera mi hijo, óyeme.
Ese plato, claro, tiene todo el sentido. Yeah, it makes sense, and it's cross-cultural. It's desired to protect.
But I think I do better with the boys. So I'm so glad that I have, you know, my son was a male, and you know, my boys are boys. The grand boys, I don't know if I can do it con una niña, porque tienen tantos hormones and emotions, y pues yo también soy igual, you know. Tengo unos días que nomás quiero andar allí de chillona y ni sé por qué.
Claro.
So.
Qué bueno, yo también tengo un hijo y estoy de acuerdo contigo, gracias a Dios. Es un niño, no por el género, sino porque si no, no sé, le hubiera tocado una perversa mamá, como que no sabría cómo moverme con niñas, así es que estoy de acuerdo contigo. Ok, Olivia, ¿qué le dirías tú a la Olivia de 5 años que estaba aquí aprendiendo que el idioma era una cosa compleja, que veías a todas las niñas quedar embarazadas? ¿Qué le dirías desde este lugar, hoy que estás aquí, que estás tan enfocada en el trabajo por la comunidad, que estás pensando en irte a la cama temprano? ¿Qué le dirías a esa niña que estaba de pronto perdida, no, sin poder ver siquiera a su mamá porque su mamá estaba trabajando muchas horas?
You know, it can go so deep inside, because yo me acuerdo, you know, tan alone, tan triste, tan sola, porque no hay tanta gente que me pueda entender. La única que me entiende es mi hermana. Si yo le digo a otra gente, oye, pues es que mi mamá nunca estaba allí, y hay unos días que todavía la necesito, como oyes, mom, hazme una sopa, you know, algo.
Hasta tengo cólico, o sea, tengo un cólico y quiero que me consientas, qué sé yo.
Yes. So todavía hay esos momentos que todavía me siento como la niña, pero no soy la niña, soy ya esta mujer, abuela y madre, esposa, hermana, everything. el ejemplo for the community. So I feel the need to, you know, be strong. And so I feel that that's kind of what I would tell the old Olivia is just, y también tiene mucho que ver con la cultura, so I'm trying to be really careful here. To be strong, pero también si necesitas ayuda, di que tienes ayuda. Porque es the stigma that's what I'm trying to break away from. Porque mucha gente no, porque como te dije temprano, es mi mamá, oye, mija, si necesitas más dinero, pues consigue otro trabajo, pida más horas.
Keep being strong.
You be strong.
And that's it. And I love what you're saying, because somehow our community, our Latinas, we carry that. We have to be strong. We have to face whatever it is, whatever comes to our way. We have to figure it out and find a way. But what about the other piece? The one that needs to rest, the one that needs the hug because today I'm sad, or maybe it's not just about being strong.
I would have to say you have to give yourself grace. You have to give yourself peace of mind. Si ahora no tienes ganas de cocinar, don't cook. It's okay. You don't have to. Si no quieres salir o lo que sea, you don't have to.
I love that. Give yourself some grace and love. You know, instead of all the time pushing and pushing and pushing, you have to be strong. You have to be there for everybody. You have to, because we forget that piece, that we are also humans.
Right, y luego con la otra parte of being strong, it's like you have to put on a mask, right? Y esa máscara dice que it's like a costume. I'm this image. I give the persistent or the image of I'm being so strong, I can handle anything, pero adentro estoy batallando, estoy sufriendo, estoy sola, nadie me entiende, estoy confundida. I mean, I have all these thoughts, and it's more of like sometimes you have to pull that mask. You have to just let people see you for who you really are. And that's how you connect with people. It's just by being bien humilde, by being human with reality.
Real, by being real, humble, real, who you are. If you are tired, just say, I am tired, I need to rest. If you are strong, good, you are strong today. You know, whatever you feel like you need to do, instead of just putting on the mask and keeping it all the time so people see you as the strong female Latina. Yeah, no, and you know, I think that's what I've really tried to, you know, just advocate for, is that we have to be our own advocate a la vez también, you know, and we don't because of culture, right? But at the end of the day, my message is to give yourself grace. Would that message be different to all the Latina moms or moms, single moms, or teen moms that are there listening to you? What would you say to them? The moms that think this is it, you know, or this is a disaster. Why is this happening to me? Because you can have many perspectives as well. So what would you say to them now that you are here from this side, like the professional women doing all these amazing things?
Que sí se puede.
Que sí se puede.
Sí se puede, claro que sí. And porque ahora estás batallando no quiere decir que es el final. You just have a bad day, and we're all entitled to have a bad day. Pero sigue adelante. Ten esa fe de tú misma, porque si tú no crees en ti, how do you expect anybody else to believe in you? Si tú quieres amor, quieres que te quieran, ¿cómo? Si tú no te quieres ni a ti misma. And so I think that's the message that I would probably be sharing, is just love yourself. It starts with you, and don't let anybody dim your light.
And how about the ones that feel lonely? The ones that are exactly going through the same situation that you were with your mom, because she needed to work, because you needed to eat. That was a reality. But they are partying probably, but also feeling the loneliness. What do you say to them, to those girls?
Yeah, you know, it's so hard. because even at that age, you're so vulnerable, and you lack a lot of confidence. You want to be with the popular group.
You want to fit in.
You want to fit in. So estás aquí, you're over here. It's just so confusing, right? But I think that the more you pay attention to yourself, and what does Olivia want? What does Rocio want? At the end of the day, ¿quieres que te respeten? Okay, entonces compórtate como alguien que, that needs that respect. And if you don't give it off, pues, that, and I think that that's what you have to do, is give yourself affirmation, love yourself, because I think everybody has a wounded kid inside. Mucha gente se queda stuck, right? They don't grow. You grow in age, but you get older, but you still live with the hurt que te pasó cuando tenías 15 años, and you live that trauma over and over again, and until you heal that little kid that hurt at 15 years old, until you give you parent your own self, until you can do that, you can move forward. And I don't think it's possible if you can't love yourself. And so for those that tienen hijos a la edad que yo tuve a mi hijo, it's so challenging. And when I had my kid, and like I said, I felt very in place, very like it was just a natural environment. But then I went to Highlands Ranch years later, and I'm the only one who's a single mom who, que somos latinos allá. Y luego cuando I would go register my son at school, they'd be like, well, you're his sister, or eres la hermana, or
who are you?
Yeah.
What's your role?
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm his mom. And so I started getting judgment, right? Because of what I look like. And I've always told my son, because él me decía, Mom, we look like we're the fly in the milk. We're the only dark people con toda esta leche. And I was like, that's okay, mijo. Suck it up, brush it off. And you represent wherever you go. You're always going to be judged. It takes like someone 10 seconds to judge you. And you don't say anything. It's just your image. So you always represent yourself. You be proud if you're the only fly in the milk. You always give yourself.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that, because we forget that and we try to hide it. Sometimes, like in our case, with this ton of skin and everything, is hard to hide it, which makes us target. Have you been a target of racism or any kind of discrimination?
I want to say it was more of like when I had my son at a very young age, y luego when we finally decided to move from the hood and went into Highlands Ranch. That's probably when I felt the most discriminated, the most judged. And many times yo también, I'm like, I should probably move back where I'm more comfortable, where I know that people will, just see me for me, and I where I belong, right? But then that would also hinder my growth. I wouldn't be able to be this strong advocate for myself if I were to follow what my head or my heart was telling me. No sé a cuál, your mouth is in between what you think and how you feel. So you always have to pay close attention to whatever message you're getting from your heart or your brain. So yeah, like I said, there was many times I just wanted to throw in the towel on myself because I felt like I didn't belong. And mi hijo está batallando en la escuela because he's the only Latino allí, and he's getting into fights, y luego yo not even like not appreciating, but not even being so happy at work, but still like a constant battle. And then in school, raising my son, and I just felt like I was so overwhelmed, so burnt out. But every day was like, you have a choice. You have a choice to put your foot in front of the other. you have a choice. You can go backwards or you can go forward. And so that's what I've always decided to do. But with the discrimination part of it and having a kid so young, it's more of embracing. This is my story. This is the blessing that God has given me. God said, you're not getting it together, Olivia. No te estás portando bien. So te voy a mandar a blessing. Para que te portes bien. You might think it's, ¿cómo se dice?
Un castigo.
Un castigo. But in reality, it was the best thing that's ever happened to me, is having my kid.
That was the focus that you needed.
Yes.
At that moment. Like, oh, okay, where am I going?
And I knew, and God knew that without having my kid in my place at a very young age, I probably would have went a different direction. And I ended up, going through all that struggle and suffering as much as I did with, the challenges and being judged and looked at differently, trying to go to school. Many times I didn't even know what I was doing. I just know I had to continue to walk the walk. And now I'm totally at peace. Right. And it's because I've given that to myself.
So there is something that you said, and I want to add to that. And it wasn't just about embracing it, who you were, but also I get the feeling of being proud of that. Not just, okay, this is what I have to do. I'm a mom. I'm a Latina, single mom, like many components to be discriminated against. And instead of just feeling like, poor me, feeling proud. I am a Latina single mom. Changing for an exclamation, changing the last acento por una exclamación de no, I am a Latina single mom. And I'm proud of this. And I'm going to just tell my story for many others to feel the same, to walk the same path in terms of, it doesn't mean that it's hard. Probably it is harder if you have to hide it, if you don't own your story.
Oh, yeah. And no, I did, actually. I was very ashamed for a very long time. And, my husband would always tell me, it's important to tell your story. Y él me decía, when he was doing firefighter work, he's like, yo me acuerdo en esta área en 5 points, ayudándole a la gente. And I'm like, yeah, les ayudabas a gente como yo, pero tú no viviste mi experiencia. It's a little different from seeing it from
being the savior.
A different,
lead the story.
On the other side. Es muy diferente. Pero, sí, o sea, I felt like such a shame because of my choices, right? And so it took me a long time. And Rowena also said, she had this, the first pilot, storytelling. And I was, I was in there on the first pilot and shared my story. And the whole process was so beautiful, but my story was different from everybody else's. Like they were like, why do you love Denver? Y qué de Denver te gusta? Y luego cuando llegó para mí, mi tiempo, pues ha batallado tanto en Denver.
Yo no sé por qué lo amo.
Y me da tanta tristeza Denver. Pero al último, I had a chance to hear myself. And it still breaks my heart to hear that I can hear my voice, how far I've come. And then from that part, from that moment, I feel that I started to become more proud and more, I want people to know that it's okay. No tienen que necesario conocerme a mí, but it's important that I at least advocate for those, que tienen sus hijos temprano, or necesitan la ayuda, son mamás solteras, or no hablan la idioma. Everything, el robo de salario, I'm not documented, all those components, all those areas, and I can advocate for you. I can help you.
I know this. I know the meaning of your story, which I think is the point when you were saying, your husband saying like, I understand. No, you don't. You know the story, but you don't really know the meaning because you haven't been there. You are looking from the other side of the story.
Yeah.
Wow, what an amazing story. This is beautiful, Olivia. Thank you so much for your time. What did you say finally to all the people there who is listening to Desde la Cima? What would be the last comment or?
To believe in yourself, to give yourself grace, to love yourself for the person you're meant to be on this earth, and to just strive, because everybody has a story, and as hard as difficult you may think yours is, it's still a story, and it's your story.
It is your story.
Own it and make it a success, make it a reality, make it a dream. You're the only author of your story. So you get to make those choices. You get to navigate and have those narratives however you want. So own it.
Own it. I love it. Gracias. Esto ha sido Desde la Cima hoy con Olivia. Estoy absolutamente agradecida, Olivia. Gracias. Thank you. Thank you so much for this beautiful story and for teaching us that we need to own our story. And we get to decide the rest of the story.
Yes.
Because this is the story that we've lived all till today. But what about the rest? We get to decide that story as well. Thank you so much.
Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias a ti por el tiempo, por la dedicación, por contar tu historia. Gracias a todos los que nos están oyendo Desde la Cima. Compartan, comenten si quieren comunicarse también con la línea. ¿Cómo se pueden comunicar con la línea de atención si necesitan ayuda?
Facebook, también te puedo mandar mi
Por
información.
favor.
Yes.
Van a encontrar aquí con la entrevista el enlace para que conozcan y sepan cómo conectarse con el trabajo que está haciendo Olivia, y para que puedan aprovechar los recursos que ella está ofreciendo. Así que muchísimas gracias a todos. Comenten, comparten, denle like y nos vemos en el próximo capítulo de Desde la Cima.
Gracias.